hapon po sa ating lahat. Ako po si Lourdes De Vera. At dahil Friday ngayon at stressful week, ito ang lista ng gusto kong inom. Whiskey, single malt. Straight, gin and tonic or Russian white. Kung wala talaga pwede ng vodka at saka Sprite. For now, this is Afternoon Delight. And this Friday, November 8, off muna ang ating Tita Denise Tan. Ang makakasama natin, mga kapatid, ang One News Now anchor Ate Pauline Versosa na may dalang alay. Ang ating delight of the day, pancakes.
Hello, hello. Good afternoon naman. Oo, welcome back. Matagal-tagal na rin tayo, no? Last time nag-sit-in tayo, paulit-ulit pa yung 100 taong laban. Na-miss mo ba yun?
Oo. Kala ko nabura ko na sa isipan ko yan, pero ngayon biglang nagpe-play. At feeling athletic tuloy ako. At speaking of athletic, congratulations.
Saan?
Nagpi-PBA ka na ulit?
Oh, yes. Oo, nako, exciting yung labanan mamaya. Pero pag-uusapan natin yan.
Question, at dito nakasalala yung sweldo mo. TNT o Hinebra?
Ayoko na muna sagutin. Yung mga viewers na lang tanungin natin mamaya.
Ayun.
Ayan, no? But for today, ayan, our afternoon delight of the day is pancakes. Ayan.
Anong dating sa'yo ng pancake?
Alam mo, actually ayoko ng pancakes. Hindi ako mahilig sa pancakes.
Bakit? Ganyan kakapal?
Ganyan kakapal. Pero ito fluffy yung pancakes, ang ganda. Ikaw, mahilig ka sa pancakes?
Yung generation kasi namin, medyo exotic pa yung pancake noon.
Really?
Yes, yung mga Maya pancakes. It's one of the first things you learn how to cook pag sa bahay.
Ay, totoo.
Yes.
Oo, madali lang kasi siya eh. Diba? Lalo na kung may pancake mix na. Kumaga, luto mo na lang.
Pancake na nga lang minimix pa. Anyway, tama. Well, it's flour, egg, sugar, and milk, no? Ito ang isa sa mga pinaka-primitive na pagkain ko totoo. So, most primitive recipe sa mga caves daw na nakikita namin traces daw na makikita mo mga dinurog na grains at niluto sa mainit na surface. Yan. In the event that you do eat pancake, Tita Pao, ano ang kita ko ng ritual mo, inuuna mo yung syrup?
Hindi, mali pala. Butter dapat. Oo. Ipapahid muna yung butter, saka ilalagay yung syrup.
Di ba nakakainis mo po yung butter ay sobrang tigas?
Oo.
Nadudurog na yung pancake mo.
Tama. Ito, saktong-sakto, di ba? You can easily spread it on your pancake.
Ito po ni Glenn yan eh, kaya natin.
Ganun ba yun?
Yes.
Hindi ko tuloy sure kung gusto ko makain. Hindi, masarap ang pancake.
Noon, actually hanggang ngayon mahirap pa rin i-master yung eksaktong thickness.
The fluffiness, oo.
So, minsan gumagamit yung iba ng parang, ang tawag nila ron, parang hulma.
Yes, oo.
Ang Jollibag daw gumagamit noon, pabilog.
Para perfect talaga yung pagkabilog niya.
Yes.
Ako kasi, pero pagdating sa pancakes, parang mas prefer ko yung waffle for some reason over pancakes.
Diba?
Ikaw, same?
Pag may option ako na may waffle sa harap ko, uunahin ko yung waffle.
Waffle. Pero pareho lang naman sila ng mix, di ba?
Yes and no. Dahil yung mga tawag nila, yung mga grids doon sa waffle, pwede mo siyang itosta na hindi tostado yung buong surface.
Tama.
Unlike this one, pag tinusta mo siya ng konti, dama yung buong surface.
Tama.
Pero alam mo, maraming ano ba yung blini? Potato yata yun, ano? Yung nilalagay sa caviar.
Ay, social.
Pancake din yun eh.
Okay.
So talagang hinihilamusan mo talaga, Tita.
Yes. Ikaw ba? Ay, ang plain naman ng pancake mo. Wala talagang...
Tikman ko muna. Okay.
Ako ito. Ayun, sarap.
Muntik na. Yung loob, muntik-muntik na siyang mahilaw. Pero okay lang. Yes.
Okay.
Isipin mo, yung panahon, yung kainan na pancake house, pancake talaga ang kanilang
Yung sinaserve nila doon.
Yes.
Walang ibang food, walang ibang dishes.
Hindi ko maalala yung pan-chicken kung nandun eh. Pero gusto ko tuloy ng pan-chicken ngayon.
Oy, pwede yung susunod na delight nyo dito sa...
Yes. Gusto mo kailan mawawala ulit si Denise?
Next week ata eh.
Pero kung kayo yung kayo nagkikito, not for you, darling.
Tama. Ako, ang pancakes, maganda yung memory sa akin kasi growing up, we'd have it every Sunday.
Ba't ayaw mo?
So, wala, hindi ko na... Minsan
Nagsawa
kasi
ka na.
nakakaumay, oo. Pero yun nga, pag waffle, parang for some reason, mas okay siya.
Pero hindi ba ang kagandahan sa pancake ay napaka-malleable niya at napaka-open sa lahat ng toppings na pwede mo ilagay.
Ikaw, anong toppings ba usually?
Ako butter
Some
lang
put-
talaga.
Oh, pero some put chocolates, di ba?
Ayoko ng
chip
chocolate.
Pancakes.
Walang sweet tooth eh. Pero
Yung iba may fruits,
pwede.
strawberry,
Saging.
saging.
Dahil saging lang ang may puso.
Oy,
Pero tong sunod pag-usapan natin, walang mga puso yung iba rito.
ay,
Sa
ganun
totoo
ba
lang.
yan?
Galing na segue
sige.
ko, no?
Oo, ang galing. Ito, at this point, tignan naman po natin ang ilang mga storyang pinag-uusapan sa social media. On the Associated Press, Australia plans a social media ban for children under 16.
Bakit naman?
Ayan, so
Mas
based on this...
mental health daw ang concerns, ano?
Yes.
Not for anything.
So the Australian government recently announced na they want to establish this world-leading legislation na magkakaroon nga raw ng age limit of 16 before children can start using social media. Balak nila to i-introduce sa parliament in the final 2 weeks of session which begins November 18. So mukhang gusto talaga nila ito i-push. Ito, Australia hopes to be the first country in the world that will impose social media ban for children under 16 even if they have parental consent.
Alam ko hindi ka pa parent, pero anong opinion mo rito? Agree ka ba o hindi?
Well, I will speak siguro dun sa perspective ng mga bata, no? Kasi yung social media, may pros and cons naman talaga siya, right? Pros is you stay informed, you get involved in social issues, may sense of community, di ba, stay in touch with your friends, ganyan. Pero gets ko rin naman yung cons, but there's probably a better way to manage itong sinasabing detrimental effects of social media.
Nung lumalaki ka, may social media na, no? May internet na.
Actually, wala masyado. Nung college na siguro ako, yung talagang naging... Yung mga cellphones are always in your hands, di ba? Pero nung bata ako, wala naman actually social media.
Kala ko bata ka pa at inabot.
Bata pa pala ako.
You never saw a world without social media, no? Well, ako, may part of me agrees, pero hindi for the reasons na pinupush nila. Sa akin yung parang, gusto ko na magbasa ulit yung mga bata ng libro. At hindi maging dependent doon sa instant accessible information. Because information is different from knowledge. Yung may mga alam ka nga pero yung knowledge, may information ka. Let's say the telephone number of Pauline Versosa is not the same as Pauline Versosa herself. So yung una is the phone number. But yung knowledge ko niya is Pauline mismo. No? May sense ba yung sinabi ko? Parang gano'n, di ba? The thing itself. Kumbaga, hindi yung referencing to the thing. At ito yung ginagawa ng internet sa atin.
Ayan.
Oo.
Pero alam mo, marami rin nga nagtatanong, no? But why 16 years old? Parang hindi ba masyadong ano na rin yun? Ano ba ang 16? Adolescent, di ba? It's important also that they stay in touch with the world. So, but
Grabe naman. Sa dinami-dami ba naman ng mga mapapanood ngayon, hindi pa ba sila in touch?
yun na nga, pag tinanggal yung mga social media platforms,
As if
there
naman.
might be a cultural shift. Kasi dito, so ang balak nilang isama dun sa social media ban, X, formerly known as Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. So yung, actually a lot of parents, sila talaga yung
Ano na lang
nagpupush
natira?
nito. They expressed concern. YouTube is not part of the ban.
O yun. Pwede na yun. Mabubuhay. Ako, medyo mahirapan ako pag walang YouTube.
Diba?
Kasi doon ako nanonood ng mga Vatican Mass na live.
Wow. Araw-araw?
Of course.
Okay.
Kaya natatawa. Teka. Ang hirit lagi ng mga magulang, bakit yung panahon namin wala namang mga ganyan?
Kaya, oo.
Diba? Siguro magandang social experiment, pero in the end, nasa parent pa rin yan. No? Kung ang parent ultimately ang may hawak ng mga password. Pero gaya ng lahat ng bagay na pinagbabawal, ultimately, alam natin ang nangyayari sa mga bagay na binaban. Nagkakaroon siya ng underground commodity.
Yes. Maghahanap kasi yung mga, lalo ng mga bata, diba? They will find ways to still access the internet. So it might just foster a culture of yung nga, underground behavior, makahanap sila ng, kumbaga, yung loophole eh. Diba ngayon pa nga lang, meron yung mga VPN, mga...
Oo. Sa mga parents dyan, Kung akala ninyo na payapa yung desktop computer ninyo sa bahay, tingnan ninyo yung history. Oo, yung history ng browser ninyo.
Baka naka-incognito mode yung mga, di ba? Marunong na rin kasi sila. Hindi.
Tama, mas marurunong ang mga anak nyo sa inyo. Kung akala ninyo, meron ng ang tawag doon, mga naka-lock na, parental lock.
Yun.
Negative. Alam nila yan.
But that's one solution na pinapropose. Ito actually ibang academics. Over 140 academics are not amenable to this proposed law kasi sabi nila a total ban on social media is not effective because it gives parents a false sense of security. Tsaka this might just prevent young people from accessing yung mga important information like current affairs, politics, tsaka baka magpo-foster siya ng feelings of loneliness and isolation among youth. So baka pwede rin pag-aralan nga. No,
nagugulahan ako. Pero hindi ba yung social media sinasabi ang cause din, ang major causes of alienation and loneliness? Kasi nagkakaroon ng mga comparison in terms of yung mga lifestyle. Ano ba talaga mga eksperto?
Well, I guess kailangan talaga ng pag-aaral, no? Malalim na pag-aaral talaga on this proposed law. So, we'll see. If ever Australia will be the first.
I-ban ninyo yan sa Pilipinas.
Sa Pilipinas.
By December, merong isang website na, patutunayan na naman, na #1 ng Pilipinas sa patagalan sa website na yon. Hindi ko na yan sasabihin, pero alam na alam yan ni Kuya Mer at Direk.
Ay, ganun ba yan? Basta we'll be monitoring this story, if ever Australia
Pero
will be
kung ako parent,
kung
ako parent, ang gagawin ko, sige, 16 ka na, pero dapat you have to earn it, yung access mo sa internet. Kailangan may mga, siguro 4 questions sa essay types para i-justify na sa akin. No? At each of the 4 questions, ita-target niya kung anong specific na avenues of research gagamitin niya ang social media. Pero huwag kayong mag-alala, no? Eventually, may mga paraan ng mga bagay-bagay na mag-even out. Etong mga pa-post-post na darating ang panahon, nakakadiri na yan sa mga kids.
Uy, ngayon pa lang
diba?
Parang may nagkakaroon na ng behavior ba na parang medyo cringe na, di ba? Very Gen Z term. Medyo cringe na daw mag-post ngayon sa social media platforms.
Sa totoo lang, di ba? Kung noon, papakita mo, ito'y binili mo, ito'y binili mo.
Flex culture.
Nakakahiya yun.
Yeah.
So ngayon, di ba may na sila, may mga iba-ibang mga pananaw na sila sa mga social media. Kaya, Facebook, wala na yan, wala nang bata dyan halos. Pang-tito na yan, tatay, ninang, na nag-aaway-aaway sa politika, mga bumoto kay Trump sa Amerika, mga ganyan.
Yeah.
Ang Twitter din yata, hindi na, no?
Hindi masyado.
Yung TikTok, dahan-dahan nang umaalis ang kids dyan kasi nadidiscover na nila auntie. At marunong na mag-story sila auntie. Instagram,
yun nga parang not a lot of Gen Zs are posting na rin daw on Instagram Parang na-realize nila siguro na flex culture isn't...
Gen Z pala ako.
Ay, talaga ba? Ayaw mo rin mag-post?
Pagod na lang ako, nakakapagod.
Pagod ka na lang.
Career kasi mag-post, anong baka kala ninyo? Di ba?
Ayan. Pero ito po, moving on to another issue, also on social media. Well, this video went viral and it was posted by FTTM. Ito po, isang babae na nasagasaan sa Bonifacio Global City or BGC habang nasa pedestrian lane. At ang nakabangga po ay isang SUV that tried to beat the red light. Here's that video.
Medyo disturbing po yung video.
Nakita nga natin, trinay talaga habulin ng SUV, yung red light, at sa kanyang pagmamadali, nagulat silang dalawa. And,
alam mo yung pinaka-nakakainit ng ulo dito, pedestrian lane yun eh. At hanggang ngayon, kung hindi nagmamadali yung ibang mga drivers, siguro, kung matter of life and death yan, pero kung isipin mo na late lang, may hinahabol na matter of privilege, na wala nang... Pero kasi ang pedestrian lane, kaya tinawag na pedestrian, karapatan yan ng mga tumatawid. Although, sabihin ko ng pangalan niya, si Victorino Carino, piloto ko minsan, guilty sa ganyan.
Okay.
Oo.
Na hinahabol, nagmamadali.
Hindi.
Ano?
Minsan nakakalimutan na yun na para sa tao
Ang pedestrian. Oo, actually in this video, you can see green yung light, no? Para dun sa pedestrian lane. So talagang tama yung babae. Talagang she will be crossing kasi green. Pero kahit naman walang light dyan, ang traffic rules talaga is when you see a pedestrian lane, kailangan mag-slow down ka. And since intersection ito, dapat aware ka naman na may crossing talaga in every lane.
Sa BGC pa talaga, no?
Sa BGC pa talaga. So,
pero tingnan natin, itong si Nicole ay nag-post. Ang sabi niya, binalita na nagpa-areglo daw ako. Okay, dinideny ngayon. Hindi ko naman gusto magpa-areglo talaga. Sadyang hindi ko na lang alam kung ano pinapasulat nila sa akin sa Traffic Bureau dahil wala na ako sa sarili. Hindi naman fair nga yun, ano? Hindi ko na alam nakasundo ang areglo na pala yun. Sobrang unfair lang kasi ayaw mag-compensate ng maayos ng driver. Ayaw bayaran mga araw na hindi ko maipasok sa work. Tama. Grabe yung emotional trauma at physical pain ang napala ako sa nangyari. Baka hindi na rin ako makatuloy sa pagtatrabaho. Sa BGC dahil na-trauma ako at hindi na kaya bumalik. Sobrang unfair talaga at gulo ng justice system sa Pinas. Alam mo, Nicole, kung may sa mga free legal assistance dyan, ano? Kailangan mo, Nicole, ng abogado. Malakas ang laban mo rito.
So kahit pumirma na siya ng settlement, kumbaga,
ang linaw ng paliwanag niya, groggy pa siya, hindi naintindihan yung sinasabi niya. Pwede mong i-treat yun na under duress siya, no? So parang...
So in case may nagtataka, no, si Nicole, fortunately, hindi naman malala yung kanyang mga natamong sugat. Kumbaga, she sustained bruises and a bump. Pero if you watch the video, grabe kasi talaga yung pagtalsik niya. No? Ako, na ano talaga ako.
Ang layo,
Yes, oo.
At maswerte, hindi ba nabagok ang ulo?
Yun.
Ang tanong, bakit daw hindi muna sa ospital dinala? Bago sa Traffic Bureau, my God.
Yun nga yung pinag-uusapan din namin kanina, no? Baka kasi adrenaline din ni Nicole na after she got hit by the car, adrenaline mo, tatayo ka na lang agad-agad, di ba? Yung parang defense mechanism mo is you're gonna maybe convince yourself, I'm okay.
Okay lang ako.
Okay lang ako, tatayo ako, buhay pa ako. Di ba? Pero yun nga, so baka akala nung driver, okay ka naman pala, punta na lang tayo ng Traffic Bureau, settle natin to. Or dapat nag-check pa rin siya ng ano niya, yung pumunta muna sila ng ospital man lang para i-check din yung ano niya.
Paano kung ma-discover natin na 7 pala yung plaka ng driver?
Ay, ibang usapan na din yun.
Ba?
Doble na yung ano yun. But of course, we have yet to hear from the BGC Traffic Bureau. So far, si Nicole pa lang ang naririnig natin. Kaya One News will also be reaching out dito sa BGC Traffic Bureau para makuha rin yung side nila.
My God, alam mo sa minsan naiinis pa ako. Ito yung minsan yung mga jeepneys. No? May mga taong tumatawid sa pedestrian lane. Tapos ito mga jeepneys, pinupot-potan pa nila yung mga taong tumatawid. May paano nakakakuha ng lisensya itong mga kababayan natin na ganito? Sa Japan, sa Tokyo, pag nakita nila may tumatawid, malayo pa lang, titigil, pepreno agad ang mga sasakyan. Kasi parang sagradong sa kanila yung pedestrian lane. Pag nakita nila yon.
Yes. Actually, even in other countries, di ba, Western countries, yung mga license exams nila in order to secure a driver's license, very strict talaga yan. Di ba, may driving test pa sila. So, makikita nung kasama mong dun, from the Transportation Department, kung talagang slow down ka. So, dun bumabalik yun, no? Gano'n ba ka-strict kasi rin yung tests natin dito sa Philippines in order to be granted a license.
May tiyuhin ako sa Canada nun. Nakatatlong bagsak ata siya bago nakakuha. Dahil unang-unang mali niya nun, nag-start agad ng kotse, inatras, hindi chine-check yung side mirror, yung mga rear, mga basics sa ganyan. Nasanay sa Pilipinas na manehong Jeprox.
So yun, kailangan talaga natin na balikan, no? Tsaka pag-igihin pa sana natin yung more strict tests para sa ating mga...
Dati may, sa GMA7 dati, sinubukan nila, nag-apply para sa isang driver's license sa ang bulag, nakakuha ng lisensya.
Talaga ba?
Noon pa to.
Okay.
Hindi natin alam ngayon.
Ito naman po, usapang kalsada pa rin. Senator Win Gatchalian is neither confirming nor denying reports that his family owns a Senate-plated vehicle that figured in a recent traffic violation. I recall that a luxury SUV bearing a number 7 protocol plate illegally entered the EDSA busway last weekend and almost ran a traffic enforcer over. The driver of the vehicle, owned by Orient Pacific Corporation, has since apologized and has been fined for the violation. Gatchalian's father and brother are board members of the said company, Orient Pacific Corporation.
Iwan na lang natin sa LTO, guys. Andun na sa LTO. Andun na siya, kaya mahirap naman mag-comment and habang nag-iimbestiga sila. And the LTO naman ay on top of this situation.
The initial probe of the Land Transportation Office found that the SUV's protocol plate was fake. And for Senator Joel Villanueva, the LTO should be on top of the investigation. He finds it strange, though, that people are making a big deal out of the issue. One of those who see the road incident as more than a traffic violation is Gatchalian and Villanueva's colleague, Senator Raffy Tulfo. Tulfo wants the passengers of the controversial SUV to come forward too and do some explaining.
I hope that this will not be a big thing. I just find it, I just find it weird na it's a national news, and the LTO should just do their part. Let's be all responsible. Do the right thing. That's all I can say.
Kung may pag-abuso sa paggamit noong
Just do the right thing. Whatever you need to do, you have to do it.
Yan ang classic example ng tone-deaf na hirit. So, hindi ka hirit ng ganyan kung alam mo na araw-araw nakikipagdigma ka sa pagsakay ng sasakyan, ordinaryong motorista ka na wala kang ganyang privilege sa pagdaan sa ganyan. At naaabuso, privilege ka na nga, nakakabili ka ng ganyang sasakyan, tapos natutulok pa yung pag-aabuso, my God. Palibasa itong mga to kasi, hindi nila nasusubukan na mag-abang doon sa busway. Pauwi ng gabi, pagod na pagod ka na at makita alas 11, yung mga nagtatrabaho sa mall, ang haba-haba ng pila dahil konti lang yung dumadaan na bus. Ganon din sa umaga, my God. Tapos, hindi issue to, palibasa kasi hindi sila nakakaranas ng ganyang mga paghihirap.
Oo, yung plight ng mga commuters talaga no. Nakakaawa rin naman talaga. Grabe yung experience. Ako dati nagko-commute din ako, no? And hindi siya madali.
UP ikot?
Uy, nagko-commute ako.
Mula Mascom hanggang
Hindi.
sa Vincent?
Uy, mula Philcoa hanggang Quezon Ave.
Wow, ang layo nun, te.
Uy, malayo yun
Oo, umikot ka
Mahirap
lang.
mag-abang ng jeep. Anyway.
Umikot ka lang ng circle.
Anyway, going back doon sa point.
Oo. Kasi, ano ba, hindi ito simple traffic violation issue. Abuse of power. At ito yung, sa akin, sa lahat, wala nang mas nakakainis pa na may mga taong pinili and deemed more special than you.
Yes.
Dahil nakakadaan sila sa ganun. Pero hindi lang doon nagtatapos yan. Muntik na siya makapatay at maka-aksidente ng traffic constable and enforcer. So doon pa lang, sabit na to eh. Kaya, eto pa, sa LT, sumubok pa kasing mag-cover up no? At binawi din later on. Kung umamin na lang nung unang-una pa at sinabi, eto po, sorry, pero wag naman gayahin yung isang dating governor na nag-abot doon sa constable. May premyo pa daw dahil hinuli siya.
Oo. Pero I think pinag-aaralan din ng Transportation Department kung itong pag-issue ng mga government plates, dapat isa na lang per siguro senator, kumbaga yung official vehicle lang kamo na gamit. Yun lang ang pwedeng gumamit ng protocol plate.
Ako sa mga...
Baka naman kasi lima-lima yung mga...
Ang dapat bigyan lang naman ganyang protocol plate sa Larissa Ontiveros, yung mga nagtatrabaho talaga. Yung mga chairman ng Committee on Silence, dapat tanggalan yan.
Ay, ganun ba yun?
Oo, sayang lang ang tax.
As of now, kasi parang mag-a-apply ka lang ata You just file an application for that protocol plate and then they will issue you.
Correct.
One. Pero ngayon, dapat nga pag-aralan, baka nga mas maigi na yung senador lang talaga gagamit o yung congressman o kung sino man yung nasa pwesto.
The truth will set you free. So kung umamin lang ng una, wala na tayong ganito usapan ngayon. May mga attempts pa kasi. Anyway, ito pang isang insidente sa kalye na medyo kakaiba. Okay, ano nga ba yung pananagutan ng isang driver na nadamay lamang sa isang aksidente? Paano kayang damay ibig sabihin nito? Well, ikikwento sa atin yan ng ating mobile journal, Merrimon Reyes.
Ingat sa biyahe. Yan ang madalas marinig ng mga motorista. Paano kung nag-iingat ka na nga, pero nadamay pa rin sa sakuna sa kalsada?
Pagkatapat ng gulong ko sa trailer sa unahan, bumangga sila sa nakaparada. Tumalsik.
Bubiyahe papuntang Batangas ang driver na si Ryan o mas kilala bilang si Biyaherong Guardians nang biglaan na lang siyang napahinto dahil may nasagasaan na pala ang minamaneho niyang trailer truck. Isang rider kasi ang sumalpok sa isa pang maliit na truck at ang angkas nito ang tiyempong nagulungan ng kanyang trailer truck.
Inahabol yung kasama niya kasi may kasamang siya nauna eh. Yung yung napagdasaan ko ng mata, yung anak niya.
Pero ano nga ba ang liability ng driver na nadamay lang sa isang sakuna sa daan? Ayon sa isang abogado, reckless imprudence ang kasong sinasampa sa mga sitwasyong ang kababayaan ng isang tao ang naging sanhi sa pinsalang naidulot sa iba. At sa kaso ng truck driver na si Ryan, masasabing hindi raw siya pwedeng habulin sa nangyari.
Una, meron ba siyang kapabayaan o negligence? Wala, di ba? Tumalsik lang sa kanya eh. Pangalawa, yung bang pinsalang nadulot dun sa biktima ay kapabayaan niya ang naging dahilan. Hindi rin eh. Kasi ang nakapinsala doon sa biktima ay yung vehicle, yung sasakyan na nakabunggo sa kanya. Tumalsik lang siya doon sa truck eh.
Nauwi na sa aregluhan ng insidente. Tiling lang daw ng pamilya ng nasawi. Tulungan sila sa mga gastusing kakailanganin na ibinigay din ng kumpanya ng truck. Sa legal na pananaw, hindi raw totoo ang sabi-sabing basta makasagasa ng tao ay automatic nang makakasuhan ang driver. Kakailanganin pa rin daw busisiin ang mga ebidensya, lalo na para sa mga posibleng nadawit lang sa kapabayaan ng iba.
Kung wala kayong mga dashcam video cameras, picturean na lang ninyo kagad yung mga sasakyan, yung forma ng sasakyan. Kasi sa pictures, makikita agad kung sino ang wala sa lane, kung sino ang lumabag sa traffic laws. Pangalawa, tumawag ng pinakamalapit na police o traffic enforcer para gumawa ng traffic accident report. Para later on, kung magkakaroon ng demandahan, alam mo kung sino yung kakasuhan mo.
Pakiusap naman ni Ryan sa mga motorista, huwag tumapat sa blind spots ng malalaking sasakyan at paalala niya sa mga kapwa truck driver na maaaring humarap ng kaparehong sitwasyon.
Relax lang po talaga, huwag bababa hanggang po ng pulis. Kasi hindi po namin masabi hindi namin kontrol yung ng mga tao eh. Kasi pwede kami pagpupin pag bumaba. Kailangan ilak ang pinto, huwag bababa hanggang po ng pulis. Kung kinakailangan talagang lumayo sa truck, pumunta sa mga pinakamalapit na presinto.
Bukod sa pagkatuto sa defensive driving, dapat ding baon ng mga motorista ang kaalaman kung anong dapat gawin oras na may makaharap silang aksidente sa daan. Mobile journalist Merrimon Reyes po, hatid ang muka ng balita.
Okay, preno muna tayo Maraming pa kaming kwento sa inyo. Magbabalik po ang Afternoon Delight.
President-elect Donald Trump, as a candidate in 2024, promised a sweeping policy agenda should he win another term in the White House. Perhaps his two biggest promises that he seems to care the most about involve immigration, with his promise to seal the U.S.-Mexico border, and his extensive talk about tariffs and trade. On immigration, he's promised to stop the flow of migrants from south of the U.S.-Mexico border and also institute a massive deportation force. He hasn't given a lot of details necessarily about what it would actually look like to use, in his words, the U.S. military, potentially National Guard from U.S. states, even domestic police forces at the municipal level. So it remains to be seen what that looks like, but it's an anchor promise of his agenda that his supporters care very much about and that the president-elect himself seems to care very much about. President Trump also will have extensive power to set tariffs, and he has promised 10, 20, 30% tariffs depending on the day, depending on the speech, on perhaps all products that come out of China, for example. Again, we'll see exactly what those details look like, but that is a very consistent issue that Donald Trump has cared about, not just during his first term, but even years before he got into politics. President Trump and his campaign talked about a number of issues over the last year and a half in education, the environment, how to address climate change, or how to pull back the Biden administration's actions in those areas. And if you look at a lot of those topical areas, civil rights, diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, it all adds up to a vision from President Trump to not necessarily to reduce federal power and reduce the federal role in American society, but simply to concentrate a lot of that power that now is distributed out across the federal government into the White House and make the president almost a much more, and his top staff, a much more day-to-day manager of how the federal government implements policy and inputs controls throughout levels of government and when it comes to regulating the private sector.
Nagbabalik po ang Afternoon Delight dito po sa One News. Ako po si Lourdes Vera at kasama natin ang One News Now anchors, si Tita Pauline Versosa.
Alright, ito po. In the news, Pag-asa has lifted wind signal number 3 as Marce continues to move away from the Ilocos region. Marce was last spotted 100 kilometers west-northwest of Lawag City in Ilocos Norte, packing winds of 140 kilometers per hour and gustiness of up to 170 kph. Marce is forecast to continue to weaken in the next few days, but it will remain a typhoon until it exits the Philippine Area of Responsibility today. Signal number 2 remains in effect over parts of Cagayan and Ilocos Sur, as well as Abra and Ilocos Norte. Meanwhile, signal number 1 is also up in several areas.
And before it exits the country, Typhoon Marce has left a trail of destruction across the northern portions of the Philippines. A story from Mobile Journal, Francis Orsio.
Napahagulgol na lang ang kumukuha ng video na ito sa Apari, Cagayan. Sa kalagitnaan kasi ng pagtatali ng kanilang bubong, bigla itong tinangay ng malakas na hangin dahil sa bagyong Marce. Ang paaralan namang ito sa Claveria, hindi rin nakaligtas sa hagupit ng bagyo. Nasira ang pundasyon at bubungan ng daanan ng mga estudyante, pati na ang gate ng eskwelahan. Sa Ballesteros, Cagayan, kita ang pagkakabuwal ng naglalakihang mga puno. Ang evacuation center naman na ito sa bayan ng Pamplona, kita na humahampas ang hangin kahit sa loob mismo ng gymnasium. Ayon sa Cagayan PDRRMO, ang mga hilagang bahagi ng probinsya ang matinding tinamaan ng bagyong Marce.
The entire northern portion of the province ang apektado, lalong-lalo na itong mga coastal municipalities. Clearing operations pa lang ang face natin ngayon, sir. As to relief, the moment na dinala natin sa evacuation centers yung mga tao, all their needs are provided by the local government.
Sa ulat ng Pag-asa, 2 beses tumama sa lupa ang mata ng Typhoon Marce. Mag-aalas 4 kahapon ng unang beses maglandfall ang bagyo sa Santa Ana, Cagayan. Habang pasado alas 9 ng gabi ang pangalawang pagtama sa lupa sa bayan ng Sanchez Mira. Huling namataan naman ang sentro nito sa karagatan na ng bansa malapit sa Ilocos Region. Yun nga lang, kahit wala na sa lupa ang bagyo, asahan pa rin daw ang patuloy na epekto nito sa bansa.
Ngayon, palayo naman na po itong sa ating si Bagyong Marce, pero asahan pa rin po natin yung trough neto or outer rain bands po neto ay patuloy magdadala pa rin ng mga ulan at malakas na hangin, lalo na po dito sa mga areas na may under signal number pa rin po, particularly dito na po sa eastern section ng ating bansa, dito sa may Ilocos Norte. So ayun po, asahan na rin po natin, palabas na rin naman po siya ng ating Philippine Area of Responsibility ngayong araw din po.
Sa ngayon, patuloy pa na kinakalap ng Cagayan PDRRMO kung gaano kalaki ang kabuang pinsalang iniwan ng bagyong Marce sa probinsya. Makakaasa rin daw ang mga naapektuhan ng bagyo na tutulong ang lokal na pamahalaan ng Cagayan para sa rehabilitasyon ng mga nasirang ari-arian. Sa paglabas ng bagyong Marce sa PAR, asahang magiging maaliwalas na ang panahon pagsapit ng Sabado. Pero magdoble ingat pa rin dahil sa susunod na linggo, isang bagong sama ng panahon ang makakaapekto at magpapaulan sa bansa. Mobile journalist Francis Orsio po, hatid ang mukha ng balita.
And now here are more stories on One News. President Bongbong Marcos has signed 2 laws strengthening Philippine rights over its territorial waters. First, there's the Philippine Maritime Zones Act, then the Philippine Archipelagic Sea Lanes Act, which designates transit routes for foreign vessels and aircrafts. That's through the country's waters under international safety standards. Marcos hopes these 2 laws would strengthen the country's ability to defend its territory. Senator Risa Ontiveros questions the Philippine Statistics Authority's efforts to address fake birth certificates. These documents are being used by foreigners to obtain Filipino citizenship. The PSA recently found that there are 14.89 million late birth registrations between 2010 and 2024. The PSA is currently reviewing more than 50,000 registrations for falsification. And the House Committee on Good Government Chair Joel Chua says they have enough grounds to file an impeachment case against Vice President Sara Duterte. They are looking at 3 grounds for impeachment: betrayal of public trust, graft and corruption, and bribery. Congressman Chua's committee is currently investigating fund misuse at the Office of the Vice President and DepEd, which Duterte formerly and currently leads.
In his first remarks since Trump's election, President Joe Biden spoke in the White House Rose Garden on Thursday and assured the American public that the U.S. election system remains fair and transparent. He also guaranteed a peaceful and orderly transition to the new government, alluding to the January 6, 2021 insurrection as a result of Trump's refusal to accept defeat. And more from the Associated Press.
You know, the struggle for the soul of America, since our very founding, has always been an ongoing debate and still vital today. I know for some people, it's a time for victory, to state the obvious. For others, it's a time of loss. Campaigns are contests of competing visions. The country chooses one or the other. We accept the choice the country made. I've said many times, you can't love your country only when you win. I also hope we can lay to rest the question about the integrity of the American electoral system. It is honest, it is fair, and it is transparent. And it can be trusted, win or lose. You know, we're leaving behind the strongest economy in the world. I know people are still hurting, but things are changing rapidly. Together, we've changed America for the better. Now we have 74 days to finish the term, our term. Let's make every day count. That's the responsibility we have to the American people. The American experiment endures. We're going to be okay, but we need to stay engaged. We need to keep going. And above all, we need to keep the faith. I'm so proud to have worked with all of you. I really mean it. I sincerely mean it. God bless you all. God bless America. And may God protect our troops. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
The question is, will President-elect Donald Trump follow through on his campaign promise to crack down on illegal immigration? That question is on the minds of many Filipino Americans, specifically those who did not vote for him. And One News senior editor Joey Francisco reports from Washington, D.C.
Well, I want to thank you all very much. This is great. These are our friends. We have thousands of friends on this incredible movement.
A triumphant Donald Trump greeted his supporters in West Palm Beach, Florida, shortly after emerging victorious in the 2024 presidential elections. It was a far cry from the mood in their camp after the 2020 elections, when violence broke out in the U.S. Capitol after he urged supporters to march and protest Joe Biden's win. As the real S8 mogul ascends to the White House a second time, His supporters want him to focus on immigration right away.
Well, of course, the border. Got to close the border. Stop these people from crossing.
This worries some of the Filipinos here in America.
As you know, there's very high so-called TNT population ng mga Filipinos sa Amerika. They will be very at risk. And if President-elect Trump will take a very inhumane approach to dealing with undocumented Filipinos in America.
Yeah, he changes his mind all the time. So we just have to go with it, because the 4 years we had with him was also rough. It's going to be a rough ride. Very dark and gloomy, but again, we just have to work together for the sake of democracy.
Some Filipino Americans who are supporters of Vice President Kamala Harris admit they were shocked by the results of the election and are still processing what went wrong.
A bit sad, a bit shocking, a bit gloomy that our candidate Kamala Harris didn't win. But I just have to just say maybe it's not her time. But I hope that someday that a woman will be able to become president.
She had only less than 100 days to launch her campaign to get the American people to know her in her priorities, and she lost to the INI, the inflation and illegal immigration priorities of the majority of the voters dito sa Amerika. I'm optimistic that reasonable advisors to President-elect Trump will have good influence on him to live up to his commitment to his audiences, that he will be a unifier, he will heal the divisions.
Meanwhile, COMELEC Commissioners Marlon Casquejo, Socorro Inding, Amy Ferolino, and Nelson Celis are also here in America to observe the conduct of their presidential elections. They took note of best practices that they think can be replicated in the Philippines, such as early voting and mail-in voting.
Dito kasi may early voting and you can choose mail voting. Dun sa local sa atin is one-day election. So on the day of the election, dadagsa talaga dapat nandun lahat tao. Kaya dito, napansin namin, kukunti na lang kasi sabi nila, the other, yung mga iba, they avail the mail voting and early voting.
This coming May 2025 elections, COMELEC is implementing online voting for the first time for overseas voters. So while in DC, the commissioners also took time to explain to our kababayans this new mode of voting.
They are excited. Gusto nila yung internet voting kasi na-explain natin na they don't have to go to outside their house and they don't need to be absent
sa
in their
work.
Yes, pwede nilang gawin sa gabi before matulog or pagising. Pwede mag-internet sila and then they will vote. So very convenient on their part.
Aside from the US, Filipino voters in the UAE, Czech Republic, Canada, and Qatar can now also vote online. Philam voters are hopeful that this will eventually pave the way for better and easier voting channels for Filipinos everywhere. Reporting from Washington, D.C., Joey Francisco, we are One News.
All right, you're still watching Afternoon Delight dito po sa One News, but it's time for another breather. We'll be right back.
Voters had the chance this election to break the highest glass ceiling in American politics by electing Kamala Harris the nation's first female president. Instead, they returned former President Donald Trump to the White House. Some voters mourned another missed opportunity to send a woman to the Oval Office.
I think a lot of voters, men in particular, have a challenge with women leading at the highest level. It's ludicrous, but that's a part of the reality.
This isn't even so much about race. It feels like it's more about women. Like the country wasn't comfortable ready for a woman. They're not comfortable protecting women's reproductive rights.
Despite Harris's historic campaign, she wasn't able to expand on President Joe Biden's 2020 support among women to cement a win, according to AP Votecast. 53% of women supported Harris, compared with 46% for Trump, slightly narrower than Biden's advantage among them in 2020. Electing the first female president didn't rank as a high motivator for voters. Only about 1 in 10 voters said the fact that Harris would be the first woman president was the single most important factor for their vote.
And we're back. You're still watching Afternoon Delight here on One News. I'm Pauline Verzosa.
At ako naman po si Lord De Vera.
Right, usapang sports naman po tayo. The TNT Tropang Giga aims to close out the PBA Governors Cup Finals today in Game 6 against Barangay Ginebra. After a dominant 99-72 victory in Game 5, TNT now holds a 3-2 series lead. The reigning best import, Ronde Hollis Jefferson, delivered a strong performance in Game 5, putting the Gin Kings away early. If the Tropang Giga wins today, it will be a title repeat in the conference. The winner-go-home battle is set today, November 8 at 7:30 p.m. at the Smart Araneta Coliseum.
A 54-year-old Ilongga becomes the first Filipina to cross 2 islands using only a paddleboard. And here's a story from Mobile Journal, Denise Valdesancho.
Kung bibigyan ka ng pagkakataon na tawirin ang mga isla ng Negros at Panay gamit ang isang paddleboard, kakasa ka ba? Ang isang Ilonggang negosyante, sinubukan yan at siya ang kauna-unahang Pinay na nakagawa nito. Pagpatak ng alas 5:30 ng madaling araw, wala pang masyadong bakas ng liwanag at tanging ang ragasalang ng tubig ang maririnig mo. Si Lynette, gising na at handa na para sa panibagong paddleboarding adventure niya. At imbis na matakot, kapayapaan daw ang nararamdaman niya.
Nag-enjoy ako, not because I was able to stand up, but because I was able to explore Iloilo River, na hindi explore ng any other resident here in Iloilo, and it was just so amazing.
Kasagsaga ng pandemya nang sumubok si Lynette ng iba't ibang hobby, mula vlogging, pagbibisikleta, hanggang sa masubukan din maging ang paddleboarding na hindi niya inakalang aaraw-arawin hanggang ngayon.
Alam mo yung lockdown, di ba hindi ka nakakalakawatsa? So with the paddleboard, I was able to have like a vacation that's not covered by the ECQ or MECQ.
Ang bucket list niya, di basta-basta. Sa sobrang adventurous kasi ni Lynette, ang pangarap niya, tawirin ang mga isla ng Panay at Negros na may distansyang 23 kilometers.
It's always been on my bucket list because I was born in Negros, got married, transferred to Panay. So I wanted to cross Panay to Negros.
Switching from the flat waters of the Iloilo River to the coastal waters, ang masasabi ni Lynette?
When we did the Guimaras, parang wow, this is something ibang level na kasi parang it's more dangerous.
But also came the point where Lynette felt unmotivated. Mula sa dating araw-araw na pag-paddleboard, nabawasan sa 3 beses kada linggo nitong taon. Kaya't laking tulong daw talaga nang makakuha siya ng balita mula sa kanyang coach na tuloy na ang ultimate dream niya.
Parang feeling ko hindi na mangyayari yung Panay Negros. Kaya nung biglang sinabi ni coach, sa isip ko lang, oh no, hindi na ako nagpapaddle everyday. Paano to?
Looking back, the younger Lynette never would have thought she'd be able to achieve such an amazing feat at the age of 54.
It's a very, very big dream. When I saw Negros, talagang I smiled and I said, see, never doubt, believe that you can and you will.
Patunay si Lynette na ang inaakala mong imposible, posible pala. Basta't sabay ka lang sa agos ng buhay nang walang takot at buong puso. Mobile journalist Denise Valdesancho po, hatid ang mukha ng balita.
And you know the drill, lapit na mag-alas 3, kaya alam niyo na, oras na para sa I Saw the Signs. I Saw the Signs. Today's edition, this kainan is called Unang Larawan. Ito ay the best of both worlds. Ang pangalan, McDo-Libi Ihaw-Ihaw. Tagline, malinis at masarap.
Oh,
diba tagline ng hotel yun? Ito namang second picture, ang pangalan ng kebab, the greatest kebab house name of all time ay...
Cabra Kebabra.
Diba? Magic na magic. Pero yung itsura niya parang...
Oo nga medyo...
Parang bodega.
Ka.
Parang safe house sa mga terorista.
Okay.
Ito ang witty talaga.
Pita Pan.
Diba? Parang
sells,
British na British.
Oo, kebab, falafel, also a juice and salad bar.
Pita Pan.
Witty naman.
Number 4.
Ito, homemade, SNR, homemade. Siomay and rice.
In fairness, kotchi.
Ito, 40 pesos lang
40
daw
lang.
yung kanilang binibenta.
Suki natin ang nagpadala nito, si Magsi Alcantara.
O, diba?
Maraming salamat, Magsi Alcantara. Again, if you've seen the signs, huwag matakot, send them to us. Afternoon Delight on@gmail.com. Okay, bago tayo magpatuloy, kumusta natin ang Afternoon Delight viewers on Facebook and YouTube. Uy, may humirit dito, Tita pa, oh.
Ito,
Sabi niya ay...
Anong sabi?
Palengke, hotcakes over social, pancakes for me, sabi ni Hey Epe. Hello, Tita Pauline. Welcome back. And Tito Lord, looking snappy as always. Love you, boss. Broken 49502, maraming salamat. At sabi naman ni Asyong Salonga Jr., wow, pumayat at lalong sumeksi si Denise.
Bakit?
Good afternoon, AD. Si Pauline Versosa po siya.
Ayan.
Si Joe and Miv, hindi ko naman maintindihan ang hirit niya, no? Very cryptic ang kanyang message. Bro Marquez, Oni L. Disensui. Sabi niya, totoo yun sa Japan daw, malayo pala yung mga drivers pag nakakita ang pedestrian lane tumitigil. Apache TV. Humirit, test the man, humirit. Ayan. Okay, bago tayo magpatuloy.
Ito po, before we go, tingnan muna natin. Let's take a look at this hotel in Negros Occidental that's just been recognized by the Guinness Book of World Records.
Ano ba yan?
Ito sa Philippine Star, the title says it all. Negros Occidental Hotel becomes world's largest building shaped like a chicken.
Nawi-weirdo ako sa mga ganyan. I mean, hindi yung hotel mismo, pero ilang hotels lang ba ang meron sa buong mundo that's shaped like a chicken?
Oo
diba?
nga, no?
Sinong mga kalaban niya?
Marami-rami ba yan?
Pero makikita mo yung size niya, no? Makita mo, for comparison lang. Ang masasabi mo talaga dyan, wow, that's one big rooster. The rooster. Pero wala namang masama sa sasabihin ko, di ba?
Wala.
In theory, that is a rooster.
Ayan.
And another word for that starts with the letter C.
Pero speaking of C, actually yung pangalan ng hotel na yan, Campuestohan Highland Resort.
Campuestohan. Yan kasi sa Negros Occidental, attribute niya sa lahat ng mga sabongero. Kasi maraming mga fighting cocks na galing dyan. Speaking of fighting cocks, binabati natin na happy birthday si Tito Von Belenario.
Happy birthday!
Tito Von, hindi ka na namin nararamdaman. Kung naririnig mo kami, Tito Von, paggalawin mo yung basong ito. At happy anniversary sa Christy for a minute.
Ayun.
At bago tayo mag-ending, nais kong batiin ang lalaking nagpamana sa akin ng bangs na ito. Walang iba kundi ang tatay ko, ngayon 84 years old.
Wow! Happy birthday din
Mang
po.
Erning, former, retired Western Police District Officer.
Wow!
Na walang ka-stress-stress sa buhay. At that photo was taken just a few years back. Hindi masyadong malayo ang itsura niya. At
ang
pwede pa rin niya kaming,
smile niya
pwede niya kaming pagbubuhol-buhol yung magkakapatid with just one hand.
Ay, ganun ba yan?
Very athletic yan. At yun, Dad, get well soon. At ibenta mo yung kalabaw para makabili tayo ng parol.
Ayan. Happy birthday. Ayan po sa tatay po ni Lord, pati na rin kay Tito Von. Ayan, daming sineselebrate. Pati happy anniversary sa show ni Christy Fermin.
Yun. And thank you, Pao.
All right, that will do it for us this Friday, November 8. Thanks so much for joining us here on Afternoon Delight. Ako po si Pauline Versosa.
Join us again tomorrow, 2 p.m. Ako po si Lord De Vera at sabi ni Lloyd Chongco, sipag ni Tito Lord, always present. Ganun talaga kapag kapit sa patalim. Have a delightful afternoon. Thank you, Pao.